Welcome to my channel Easy Learning. In today's video we are going to start the introduction of chapter Comparing Quantities. So this chapter is not a new topic actually. We have already done this topic in grade 7 as well. The only difference in grade 8 we will be studying about the compound interest. That's an additional topic. So let's begin with topic 1. Let's revise the basic which we have done in the grade 7 as well. So the first topic which comes as the ratio and percentages. Okay, so let's understand what are these two terms. So what do you mean by if I say the ratio? So what is that? Ratio is basically relation or between two quantities, right? Or we say comparison between two quantities. That is the ratio, right? For example, if I take one example that in a class the total number of students are 30, okay, and the boys in the class say are say 20 and the girls are 10. So if I want to write the ratio boys is to girls, if I am writing the ratio boys is to girls, what will be the ratio here? How many boys are there? 20 and girls are 10. This is the sign of ratio. Okay, and if you simplify it, what will be the ratio? 2 is to 1. So we read it as 2 is to 1. This is how we read it. Now if it is very important that you place the same position. If boy is here, it means you have to place the count of boys here. If I want to write the ratio of girls to boys, then it becomes 10 is to 20 and hence 1 is to 2. So the positioning girls means the girls count will come here, boys means boys count will come here. We cannot change the order. So the ratio for boys to girls is 2 is to 1. Rather, if I ask, the ratio of girls to boys will be 1 is to 2. So this is the ratio. Now there are two important things in the ratio, which are if I say find the ratio of 2 meter to 500 centimeters, right? So whenever we calculate the ratio, the units of both the terms should be same. So either you convert it into centimeters or you convert it into meters. That does not matter. Answer will come out same. So if I write 1 meter is 100 centimeters, therefore it gives me 2 meter will be 200 centimeters. Now 200 centimeters, so ratio will be how much? 200 is to 500, zeros cancel, so the ratio will be 2 is to 5. So it is important for the ratio that the unit should be same. Now another fact is that when we write the answer, so this is your answer here, right? Ratio does not have any unit. Why? Because it is in division, right? Basically what you are doing, 200 upon 500 centimeter upon centimeter. So this is cancelled. So these two zeros cancelled, you are left with 2 is to 5. Since we have converted them to the same unit, so unit get cancelled with each other. That is how ratio does not. If you write centimeter here, that will be absolutely wrong because ratio does not have any unit. Okay. So this is how the ratio, if I take one more example to explain you ratio. If the ratio is given, suppose 2 is to 3. Okay. And I want to calculate the percentage of it. So before we do that, let's understand what is percentage first. Okay. That was the another term, ratio and percentage. So percentages are again the ratios expressed as a fraction of 100, right? And the symbol of percentage we know, it is what? Like this. So if I write 5%, it means 5 upon 100. As I said, it is expressed as a fraction of 100. If I say 7%, that means 7 by 100, right? So if I write, I give you 5 upon 100, it means we can write this fraction as percentage also. If it is given 7 by 100, I can write it in the percentage form as 7%. So it is vice versa. So this is how the percentage is done. If I pick the same example, right, the previous example where the total number of students in a class were 30. Total students in the class were 30 and boys count was given 20 and girls count was given as 10. Now we have calculated the ratio boys is to girl was 2 is to 1 and girl is to boy was 1 is to 2. Now if I want to write this in the form of percentage, so how do we write? Boys percentage will be how much? It is 20 out of how many? 30. That's your total, right? Into 100 by 100. Can I do that? Because 100 by 100 is what? 100 by 100 is 1. So if I multiply and divide by the same number, it does not make any difference. Now 1 upon 100. 1 upon 100 means this portion can be converted to a percentage sign. So 20 upon 30 into 100%. Because 1% is what? 1 upon 100. So 1 upon 100, that's denominator I am changing to a percentage sign. Now what will happen? 20 upon 30 into 100, this 0 is cancelled. So 200 upon 3%, which will be approximately equals to how much? 66.66%. So this is how the percentage of boys in the class. Now similarly, if I want to calculate the percentage of the girls in the classroom, so what it is going to be? If I want to calculate for the girls, let's pick girls percentage. How many are there? 10 out of 30. And now since you are clear with this that it is 100 by 100 and we are converting, we can apply it directly. 100%. So again you cancel it, you are getting 100 by 3, which will be approximately 33.33%. So this is how we have represented the count of boys and girls in the form of percentage and in the form of ratios. So this was your first topic. I'll take one more quick example here. Suppose the ratio of anything says 2 is to 3, and I have to write it in the form of percentage. It means I have to convert the ratio in percentage. So if you see it is 2 is to 3, so total parts are how many? 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. It means ratio of x out of total 5 and ratio of any other quantity which is 3 out of 5. So how do we write? 2 upon 5 into 100%, calculate it, 40%, right? Similarly for the second quantity, 3 upon 5. Why 5? Because this is the total part, into 100%, 5 twos are 10, 20, and this gives you 60%. So this is how we can easily convert the ratios into percentage. Again I will revise that ratios does not have any units, no units, and it has to be in the same unit before you calculate the ratios. Okay. Now let's see the another topic of this chapter, which is increase and decrease percent. Increase and decrease percent. Wherever you feel like you want to pause the video, you can definitely do that to understand the topic, or you can rewind it. So next is increase and decrease percent. So increase and decrease percent means what? It means suppose a item cost is rupees 200, right? And if I am saying by the time of 2 year or 3 year, the cost has been increased. The cost has been increased and it has become suppose 500 over the period of time. So it means how much percent is an increased is your increase percent, right? And if I say, like it happens with electronic items especially, if I say over the period of time the cost of any item has been decreased, by what percentage? From 200 to 50 we know by money, by amount, but by what percent it has been decreased is your decrease percent. So now I will explain you how you can calculate the new price after the decrement or increment or the percentage. Okay, so let's do that. So the first thing, if I want to pick one example, I'll take suppose a refrigerator. Okay, a refrigerator, and the cost of this refrigerator, let's take as 30,000 rupees, rupees 30,000. And if I say that the price has increased by 10%, okay, over 2 years. So you have to calculate the new price. It means what are the new prices now when the price has increased by 10%. So this is a very simple question. It means if the price was 30,000 and now 10% it has increased. 10% of 30,000 will give you the increment, and if you add it with the old value, you will get the new price. So what will be my equation? The selling price will be how much? 30,000, which was this price, and over the 2 years the 10% increment is there. So I will add 10% of 30,000 in it, right? This will be the new selling price now. So if you solve it, how much it is going to be? 10% off means 10 by 100 into 30,000. I can cancel these two zeros, and this gives you 30,000 plus this is going to be 3,000. So if you add it, it is giving you rupees 33,000. So you see, when there is an increase of 10%, now the price which was earlier 30,000 after 2 years is going to be 33,000. So this is the new amount when there was an increase of 10%, right? Now if I change the question as, see it very carefully, if I just swap the question as that the old price of the refrigerator was 30,000 and the new price is given as 33,000 rupees, 33,000, how much is the percentage increase, right? So here you see what we have done here. The price was given, the percentage increase was given, and we have calculated the new price. Now I am just changing this question as old price given, new price is given, and I am asking how much is the percentage increase. Okay, so let's see this. How do we calculate this? To calculate the percentage increase, please note down this formula. How do we calculate the percentage increased? It is increased value upon original value, put a bracket, into 100%. Okay. So increased value means what? New value minus the old value. That will give you the increment. So it was, if you see, 33,000 is the new value and 30,000 was the old value. So how much is the increment? 3,000 rupees. So it means I can take the difference as 33,000 minus 30,000. The original value was how much? 30,000, which was your old value, into 100%. Correct? Now 33 minus this will give you 3,000 into 100 upon 123%. Now let's see how many zeros we can cancel. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And if I cancel, 3 ones are 3 and 3 tens are 30. So how much we are getting? We are getting 10%. Right? So this was another form of the same question. If you remember, when we calculated the new amount in the previous slide, the percentage increase was 10%. So with the same values, we are getting the percentage increase as 10% in the next question. I hope this is clear, because if percentage increase is clear, similarly the percentage decrease will be very easily clear to you. So I will again recap this. In this question, the cost of refrigerator was rupees 30,000 and over a period of 2 years, it has increased 10%. We have calculated the new price with this equation, right? The old value plus 10% of the 30,000 rupees will give you that. Now I have just make a little change in the question in the manner that the old price is given to you, new price, and I am asking you to calculate what is the percentage increase. So for that we have written this formula. Percentage increase will be increased value upon original value into 100%, and this again gives you 10%. I hope this is clear. Now let's see the percentage decrease. So it is same. If I say the cost of the refrigerator was again rupees 30,000, okay, and I'm asking you, it has been decreased by 10%. It has been decreased by 10% over 2 years, and again calculate the new price. Now it is decreased. Decreased means whatever you will get 10% of 30,000, you have to subtract it. So what will be your equation? Your equation will be, the selling price will be 30,000 minus 10% of 30,000. Why minus? Because the price has been decreased. So 30,000 minus 10, 30,000 upon 100. These two zeros cancel and this becomes 33,000 minus how much? 3000, which will give you rupees 27,000. So it means now you see the price which was 30,000 and has been decreased by 10% is now 27,000 rupees. Now in the same manner, if I switch the question as we did in the last part, that we know the price. Let's say that the price earlier of the refrigerator was 30,000 and now the price is how much? Rupees 27,000. By what percent the price has been decreased? You have to calculate this. Okay. So now the original price which was given as 30,000, over a period of time it has become 27,000. So we have to tell by what percent the price has been decreased. So now we will write the formula for this also. How do we write as percentage decrease? So percentage decrease, it's the same kind of formula. We will write increased value, instead we will write decreased value upon original value, because that's 2 and into 100%. So now if you see your decreased value means 30,000 minus 27,000, because it has decreased by 3,000 and your original value was 30,000 into 100%, right? So 30,000 minus 27,000, if you cancel these two zeros here, we can do that. How much it is going to be? 3,000 upon 300, right? 1, 2, 1, 2 and 3 tens are 30. Again it is giving you 10%. It means when 30,000 was the price and it has become 27,000 now, the price has dropped by 10% over 2 periods. So we can calculate it both ways. I hope this concept is clear to you. Now I will be explaining you the next topic of this chapter, which is finding discounts. So first thing, discount word is very interesting. Everyone likes to have discount on items, right? We look for sales, we look for the discount prices. So what is discount basically? Discount is reduced price. Reduced price on marked price. When the price has been reduced, right? There is a reduction in price. Whatever is the marked price on any item, if I say that a pen costs rupees 10 rupees and the reduced price of this pen under any discount is going 8 rupees. So that's going to be your reduced price. But we will again learn to calculate the discount percent and all, as we have calculated the percentage increase and percentage decrease. So basically if you want to write the formula, what will be your discount? Discount will be what? Marked price minus sale price. That is how you will get to know from the maximum जो marked था item के ऊपर, and from that if you subtract the sale price you will get to know how much discount you have taken. So if you in this example marked price is how much? 10 rupees and sale price is 8 rupees. So you are getting a discount of 2 rupees, right? So we have calculated discount here. So there is a discount of 2 rupees. So this is again in amount. We will learn to calculate it in the percentage form also. So how we do that? Suppose if I say, let's take one example, a toy costs rupees 500, okay, and there is a discount say of 20% on it. You have to calculate the selling price. So selling price will be how much? We have to first calculate 500 minus 20% of 500. So whenever there is a discount, we always subtract it, right? Because this is a benefit, this is a sale going on. So we subtract it. Now 100 fives are this, 500 minus 25s are 100. So if you see the selling price is coming how much? Rupees 400. This will be the selling price because the marked price was 500 rupees, but there was a discount of 20%. That is why the customer has to pay rupees 400. Okay. Now if I again switch this question as we have done in the previous parts, let's do that way. If I say that the price were rupees 500, okay, and the selling price is given as rupees 400, how much is the discount percent? Okay, so if you want to calculate it, maximum price on an item was 500 and you went to a shop and you are getting it for 400 rupees, it means what was the discount offer going on? So how do we calculate it? Discount percent. Again, change in the value means 500 minus 400, which will be this. What was the original value? 500 into 100%, same. Now if you cancel, this becomes 5. 500 minus 400 is, it means there is a discount of 20%. So you can relate it. Here the discount was 20%, you have got the value as 400. When I am using these two values to calculate the discount, my discount is coming out 20%. So these questions, it is very important that we understand the statements clearly, because the questions will come in any form. So the concept clarity is very important. Now this was the discount which we subtract. Now we pay tax also on the items, right? There are different type of tax. Suppose it is written ST, which is going to be sale tax. What is sale tax? Sale tax is something which we pay when we buy items, right? Then there is another tax which is GST. What is that? Goods and services tax. Then there is another which is your VAT. What is VAT? Value added tax. So we add all these taxes with the bill. Suppose I am buying an item of 500 rupees again. Okay, again I am taking suppose a toy of 500 rupees and there is a GST of 10% on this. What will be the bill you will be paying? Though the selling price is 500, but there is a goods and services tax of 10% on it. So basically what you will be paying? 500 plus 10% of 500, right? So 5, now this will be 500 plus 10 into 550 rupees. It means ultimately you have to pay rupees 550. So there is any kind of tax that will always be added to your bill. We never subtract it. Though discount we have subtracted, but whenever there is any kind of tax, we always add it to the bill. Okay, depending on how much will be the tax, we will calculate it over the price of that item and add it to the bill. And this is, instead of 500, though the cost of toy was 500, the customer has to pay rupees 550. Okay, now we will move to the next topic which I will be explaining you, is about, let's learn to find cost price, and then we will do selling price, and then gradually we will understand profit percent and then loss percent. Okay, so when I am saying cost price, selling price, these terms are not new terms, right? We have done all these terms in the previous class as well. So still, just to revise, cost price is what? The buying price of an item. Selling price on which a product is sold out, right? So if I say I have bought a pen for rupees 10 and I have sold it for rupees 12 rupees. So this is the CP for the shopkeeper and this will be the selling price for me, right? Because I am selling it for rupees 12. Now from these terms you have to understand, if I was buying a pen for 10 rupees, I am selling it for 12 rupees, there is a profit. There is a profit, or we use gain percent also for it, right? There is a gain. Why there is a gain? Because if you see, selling price is greater than CP, right? So if you see, there is a gain of rupees 2 because the item which I bought for 10 rupees, I am selling it for 12 rupees. So there is a profit of 2 rupees. So whenever there is a selling price greater than CP, we say that it is a gain. And how do we calculate that gain? That gain will be SP minus CP. So this is going to be the first formula which you all have to remember, that if SP is greater than CP, then it is going to be a gain. And how do we calculate gain? SP minus CP. If we do reverse of it, if I say selling price is less than CP, in this example, if you see, suppose the cost price was 10 and I sell it for rupees 8. So there will be a loss of 2 rupees, right? It means when selling price is less than the cost price. So what it is going to be? It is going to be a loss. And how do we calculate loss? CP minus SP. So these are two formulas here which I am putting in the box, and you can note it down. So when selling price is greater, of course it is a profit, it is a gain, and we calculate it gain as SP minus CP. And when selling price is less than cost price, it is going to be a loss. Moving further to the selling price and the profit percent and loss percent. So the next topic, which is which we have discussed, like profit percent, and then we will understand loss percent. So profit percent will be what? Profit upon CP, because it was the original price, into 100, right? And similarly, if you want to calculate the loss percent, it is going to be loss upon CP into 100%. You have to just change the position of the brackets here. It is going to be into 100%. Now if you notice here one thing, here we have in both the formulas cost price in the denominator. It is very important to understand and remember that it is not SP in the denominator, because whether it is a profit or it is a loss, whether it is a profit or it is a loss, that we always compare from the cost price. Now, if you see in the previous slide, when I said the price was 10 rupees, I am selling it for 12 rupees. So I compared to it with 10 rupees, right? To get to know that it is a profit. When I am selling it for 8 rupees, I am again comparing it with rupees 10 to know that there is a loss. So we always compare with the cost price. That is why in the denominator we will always have CP. Now if I want to just expand the formulas, profit we know is what? SP minus CP upon CP into 100%. Similarly, for loss percent, we can write as CP minus SP, denominator again CP into 100%. So these are the two formulas to calculate the profit percent and loss percent. Now, I will be explaining you a topic in this chapter, which is overhead expenses, or these are called overhead charges as well. Okay, in few books it is written as overhead charges, overhead expenses. So what do you mean by overhead expenses, overhead charges? These are basically you can say the additional expenses after buying a product. Now what are these additional expenses? As one, I told you the tax we pay. Now if you are buying a dining table, right, suppose a dining table of 50,000 rupees, you cannot bring a dining table in your car or on your bike. So you need certain transportation, right? And if a transport is charging you 1,000 rupees to deliver it to your home, it means the table which you have bought for 50,000 rupees is now of 51,000, because you have spent 1,000 rupees for the delivery. So these extra charges, which can be in a variety, let's say courier charges, it can be your delivery charges, it can be maintenance charges, it can be repair charges. If you have taken an old hand dining table, you can spend certain amount on the repairing. Transportation charges, I just told you, and it can be labor charges, right? So there are variety. These are basically what happened. We calculate the total CP then. So the table which you have bought for 50,000, we add overheads in this to calculate the total CP. So whenever we do the questions and if we have taken certain overhead charges, so first we will calculate the total CP by adding those overheads in the given CP, and then we use these total CP price to solve the question. Okay, I hope this is clear. Overheads are the additional expenses which we basically pay in any of these forms on the item which we have bought. So first we have to calculate the total CP by adding these overhead charges in the given CP. Now before there are two more formulas. which I will be explaining. Suppose you need to calculate overall gain, and the another term is overall loss. So what do you mean by overall gain, overall loss? It means there are certain questions in your NCERT book also when you are doing two transactions, right? So in one transaction I am saying when I sold it, I am having a profit of 5%. In another transaction there is a loss of 5%, right? So what will be the overall gain? It means you will see, you will calculate SP here, you will calculate CP here. Similarly, in this transaction, SP and CP, you both the things you need to know. So overall gain will depend on total SP you will calculate and total CP. So overall gain, how do we calculate? The formula for overall gain is total SP minus total CP, because what is gain? SP minus CP. It means we will calculate the SP in both the transactions, we will calculate the CP in both the transactions, and we will see that total SP minus total CP will give me how much is the total gain in the complete transaction. Similarly, in the same here on the overall loss, how do we calculate it? It is same, total CP minus total SP. So for if there are two transactions going on, we will make sure that if SP is given, we will calculate CP here. If SP is not given and CP is given, we will calculate SP. So ultimately we need to know the selling and cost price in both the transactions, add them here, add the total CP, and then calculate the overall loss. So this was all about the comparing quantities. Now there is very important topic of this chapter, which is your simple interest, and a new topic which is going to be introduced, which is in grade 8 only, the compound interest, which I will be explaining you in detail in my next video. Till then, please revise all these concepts and see my next video to understand simple interest and compound interest. Till then, bye bye, take care.